Empower yourself. 7 Steps to Personal Success. Written by John Martin. Narrated by Alan Sewell. Chapter 1. Assess your life. No self-knowledge without self-confrontation. No self-realization without self-knowledge. Anonymous. To prepare for our journey of personal success, we need to evaluate exactly where we are in life and decide what it is or where it is that we would like to be. This is the starting point on our road to success. We begin by asking ourselves a series of questions. They don't have to be the ones I present here, but they should follow a similar line of questioning that you can answer honestly to get you to 2 basic points. 1. An ultimate goal in life. And 2. A fair determination of where you are right now in relation to that goal. I call it an ultimate goal because its attainment will be the result of you setting and achieving success with smaller related goals. An example of this might be getting your bachelor's, master's, and then doctorate degree with the ultimate goal of becoming a professor at a university. Another example would be going to barber school and cutting hair for a required number of hours to become a licensed barber, while saving money to eventually reach your ultimate goal of owning your own barbershop. Another example would be researching an area that you love, maybe a particular city, state, or country, and finding a job and place to live with the ultimate goal of moving and establishing your home in that area. Whatever it is, your ultimate goal should be big enough to be challenging, and the thought of it should inspire in you a sense of satisfaction or fulfillment. So, where are you now? Is this the job, industry, or relationship you want to be in? Maybe you're an entrepreneur and CEO of a company, and you'd rather be working in a supporting role so you could spend more time with your family. Maybe you work for a company and you would rather be operating your own. Maybe you simply do not enjoy what you do for a living. What would you rather be doing? Are you happy with your financial status? How much money would you like to have or earn? Are you living in the area you would like to live in? Where would you live if you could live anywhere? Take a minute and write down your definition of success. Even if you've done this before, write down what comes to mind when you think of your success. Consider what your work, your primary relationships, and your overall lifestyle would look like. This is your ultimate goal. Is it in line with what you're doing now? Is what you are doing taking you down the path that will lead to that lifestyle? These are things to consider as we move through this idea of self-assessment. As we decide upon our ultimate goal, we have to clear away a roadblock that often stops people before they get started. We need to make sure that we are not blaming others for our current situation and accept personal responsibility for our lives. Even if there is a solid reason for blaming others for our circumstances, we should overcome this impulse and focus on owning our situation down to the minutiae. Even if you're right in pointing the finger, the outcome will not change, and you will not reach your goal or be able to see your goal if you're carrying resentment. Accept personal responsibility. As you think about your current sources of discontent or disappointment in your life circumstances, notice what stands out in your mind and begin to dispose of your long-held excuses. What you are doing for a living is what you are choosing to do for a living. It's not your boss that is causing you to be miserable. You're not working with people you dislike because you have to pay the bills. You're choosing to work there. When you cut away all the excuses, this is the cold truth that remains. You're in the relationship you are in because that's the relationship you are choosing to be in. If you're miserable in that relationship, it's because you haven't taken the necessary steps to improve it, which may or may not include leaving it altogether. It's not because he won't go to counseling, or she drinks too much, or he is lazy, or she spends too much money, or that your mother-in-law is an insufferable old hag. It's because you made these choices. It's not him or her or them or your childhood. It's only you. It's not the Democrats, Republicans, racists, or sexists that are responsible. We have to let go of the excuses and own our lives, the good, bad, and ugly. If you are not where you want to be in your personal or professional life, it is your fault alone. The good news is that if your failures are your fault, then your successes can come by the same method, your own choices. Once you accept personal responsibility for your current circumstances in life, you are free to take the steps to change them. Listen to your inner voice. Let's get back to that first step in your journey, finding out what you want to do and where you want to go. There is something in the back of your mind that you are interested in more than other things. There is an activity or a career that you are drawn to. Pay attention to this interest. Each of us is born with unique DNA, which means we have specific desires and interests and unique ways of communicating. When we start listening and following the inner voice that is special to us as an individual, we get closer to what we were meant to do. How many of us drown out that inner voice by medicating ourselves with substances and distraction? When we medicate ourselves, we are trying to find a solution to feeling incomplete. Unfortunately, the reverse happens. We chase good times and good feelings to make us feel better about doing work that does not fulfill us. But when we come back to our day-to-day life, as of course we must, we feel more incomplete than ever. If we are ignoring this DNA code in order to please our parents, or a spouse, or society, or out of fear of money issues, we are more likely to be involved in negative habits or environments that hurt us, because we are running from our true calling. We have to pay attention to the interests that lead us to explore various career fields, or change careers, or choose a goal in life even if that choice may not make sense to other people around us. Here are 2 ways to start finding this inner voice, even if you are currently blocking it out with your choices. The first is to recall your childhood and think of what you did that made you happy. What were some of your go-to activities? What were you good at? Secondly, take a look at what you consume. What kind of entertainment? What books do you like to read? What television shows do you like to watch? What do you read or watch online? What do you buy a lot? Examining your life in this way can lead to the discovery of an interest that, if pursued, could change your direction and give you renewed purpose. There are too many people doing what their mother or father did because that's the way it always was. This breeds discontent. The discontent spreads and causes people to seek distractions and addictions and consumerism and anything that will keep them from facing the truth that they are choosing to live a life that they are not happy with. Stephen Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, puts it this way: when we drug ourselves to blot out our soul's call, we are being good Americans and exemplary consumers. We're doing exactly what TV commercials and pop materialist culture have been brainwashing us to do from birth. Instead of applying self-knowledge, self-discipline, delayed gratification, and hard work, we simply consume a product. Discover why. Discovering your reason why is a critical step in this process of empowerment through evaluation. It's important to start with why, especially when it comes to the work that you do. Why do you do what you do for a living? It's an important question to answer. Did you just stumble into it? Are you doing it to pay the mortgage? Are you doing it because it's good money? Or do you believe in it? Are you helping people out by doing it? Are you making the world a better place? Do you quite simply just enjoy doing it? Did your parents push you into it? Maybe they did. If you were brought up in a family business, you are in a position where you may not have seen the world full of choices. It may have been expected that you helped and eventually worked full-time in the business. Your needs and wants were secondary to what put food on the table. If you find yourself in this situation, you may feel a sense of guilt about wanting to leave. When you decide what it is you would rather do, formulate a plan and go. Please, for the sake of yourself and others, be honest with yourself about why you're doing what you're doing for a living. It's critical to finding your starting point for personal success. Maybe your why is simply to provide a better life for your family or to become more knowledgeable in a field of study. Maybe you are doing what you are doing for only a few years so that you can earn enough money to pay for additional education. Any reason why, as long as it is clear and can be communicated with positivity and authenticity, is a perfect starting point for selling your product or starting your business. Learn and embrace your reason why. Hang on to it. It will strengthen you and help you both personally and professionally. When we are acting from consistent, authentic, and clear motives, we are getting closer to doing that thing we were meant to do. Prepare to take action. Whatever your desire and your reason for it, it will demand action on your part. It might be picking up extra shifts or finding ways to make bonus money at your job. It might be selling unwanted items from your house to make extra money. Maybe it means a lifestyle change, like not eating out as much or going to the movies every weekend. It might be making that phone call that you've been putting off for so long, or researching the steps to get you into a training program that would benefit you. Many times, self-assessment will reflect a need to make a significant change. It may be a change in company, or even career and industry, or it may mean personal relationships need to change. Whatever the case, heed the call. Listen to that persistent voice and pay attention to what you learn and to the signs around you. In 1986, following his graduation from college, Jeff Bezos got a job in computer science on Wall Street. Shortly after, he worked in international trade with a company called Fitel, and then worked at Bankers Trust for a time. Finally, he managed to land a position with a hedge fund company called D.E. Shaw and Company, also on Wall Street. Bezos worked hard, and by 1994, at the age of 30, he was the youngest senior vice president in the history of the company, and it was clear that he would move up even higher in the ranks. But that same year, as a senior vice president making a comfortable six-figure salary, Jeff made a strange career choice. He quit. Jeff's real interest was in electronic retail. He was fascinated by the growing utility of the World Wide Web, and he wanted to spend more time learning and understanding how he could start his own retail business within this new technology. One day, while still working at D.E. Shaw, he came across the statistic that made him stop, assess his life, and make a bold change. The statistic showed that internet usage was rising at a rate of 2,300% per month. He knew he had to follow his calling. Bezos quit his job, packed up his family, and while moving across the country, typed up his business plan. A short time later, Amazon.com was born in the garage of a rented house in Seattle, and the rest, as they say, is history. Fortune favors the bold, and some of us need to take bold action. If we are assessing our life and finding it wanting, now is the time to make the decision to follow our dreams. Setting goals. Achieving your ultimate goal means setting smaller daily goals. Keep them attainable and make sure they are in line with your ultimate goal. Maybe you want to begin looking for a more fulfilling job, a position that aligns more closely with your why and with your ultimate goal in life. So, your first small goal is simply to spend 1 hour updating that resume. Then, tomorrow, the goal might be to update your LinkedIn profile. The next day, to send out resumes to 5 companies that are potential fits based on your criteria. Little goals, small steps, lead to bigger opportunities and changes in your lifestyle. This is why it is so important to take action. Any action, so long as it is in alignment with your ultimate goal. If your goal is to be the top salesperson in your group, take the small step to connect with 5 more potential clients that day. Direct message on Instagram. Connect on LinkedIn, Facebook, email, and phone. Set a goal of a certain number of connections per day and watch your sales increase. Our goals will grow and evolve as we reach them, and each step we take leads to more opportunities and more decisions that we must make. Make those decisions with your why and your ultimate goal as guideposts. Many times, this will narrow your path, while other times the path will seem wider, with many more side roads. Be careful that you don't start down too many different roads without following them to their end. Follow one path at a time. With the internet and modern technology, there are so many available options and paths to choose for careers and businesses. Sometimes that makes it easy for us to begin many different things before being distracted or pulled down another avenue. Think about your current situation. Are you saying things that you're going to do but don't actually do them? What unfinished projects are on your back burner? What plans have you made but not yet executed? Why not? What exactly is holding you back? What great ideas do you have that you have not taken action on yet? This is an important part of your life assessment. It can show you what is important to you. For some of us, we may find that these unfinished projects are important, but somehow we can't find the time to get to them. We might have hit an obstacle in our progress, and we've allowed this to stall us indefinitely. For others, it's our daily habits that are keeping us from following through. How much time do you spend surfing the internet or watching television at night? How do you spend your time most weeknights? What about on the weekend? What about in the morning? Do you get up just in time to get ready and go to work? What's your morning routine like? Could you get up a little earlier to buy yourself some time to work toward your goal? A big factor in finding the success you imagine is being honest about your failures, habits, and current situation. If you've read through this chapter and thought about these questions and now feel discouraged because you're not where you want to be, or you've got some habits that are holding you back, don't despair. It is never too late to try again. And if you don't know the answers to the questions of why you're doing what you're doing and what your ultimate goal is in life, maybe the next chapter will be helpful. We'll go down this road a bit further as we explore the idea of being self-aware.